Whoops, pushed it down a bit. There. Good afternoon. It's Monday, 23rd of November 2015. About 12:30 in the afternoon. Hope everybody is alright. In the UK, it's gone cold. It hasn't been hot, but it's been mild, but over the last couple of days it's gone cold. We've had an Arctic wind come down. Brought a bit of snow, but it didn't stay. Right Arctic blasts on the Friday. I came home and my legs were numb. Actually, on the Sunday morning when I came home, the temperature was colder than the day before, but it felt warmer because you didn't have the icy wind. Winter's arrived. Don't know what sort of winter's going to be. They're already advertising possibility of snow later on in December. Don't know how they can talk about that later on. But hey ho. Last night, brilliant Skype session with Joe and Paul. Laugh as usual. It's always a fun time. We chat about everything. But one thing we talked about was Christmas preparation. In one of his videos he did talk about me going Christmas shopping last Saturday. No, I don't go Christmas shopping until the first week in December with my sister. We spend a day therapy shopping, buying bits and bobs and Christmas presents, but we're actually going to York and they've got what's called a St Nicholas market on, so it should be fun, like a Christmas market. Then we got talking about booze. My Christmas hamper's coming end of this week. The alcohol, it will be put away, and believe it or not, I don't touch it. It's in case of just have a bit, and I don't touch it. The Christmas beer needs checking later on today, and if it's done, the fining's pouring in to clear it of all the rubbish. So over the last couple of weeks, because I've been buying Christmas presents and stuff like that and wrapping them, been a bit of a Christmassy feel. Having a coffee with pourable brandy cream in, and it is alcoholic and you can taste it. Oh, very nice. So since we're doing a Christmas, feeling Christmas, let me take this off. I'm very warm. I've got heating on, but I'm very warm with that on. That's better. So since it's been a bit of a Christmassy feeling over the last few days, this is a video I was going to do in a few weeks' time. My top 5. My top 5 songs, TV shows and films all to do with Christmas. First one, let's talk about songs. Lots of songs written, too numerous to mention, from musicals to pop groups to solo singers, from Elvis Presley to Beatles to soundtrack from Frozen, whatever. Somebody once said the greatest Christmas song ever written was A Fairy Tale in New York. To me, anybody... And the reason it was described to me is because not everybody's Christmas is happy. This is a song where basically a couple get drunk, they start slagging each other off, calling each other names. Through the song, the boyfriend or the husband beats the girlfriend or wife up and ends up in prison. I don't know anybody that has Christmases like that, and I bet there's not many people out there that know people that have Christmases like that. So, to me, that's disregarded straight away. A lot of albums have it on. To me, that's not a Christmas song. I want Christmas songs that sound happy, joyful, celebrations, etc. make you go, hey, dee 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 dee, that sort of thing. So here are my top 5 Christmas songs. All these are my personal choices. Number 5 is by Cliff Richards, Mistletoe and Wine. Very underrated singer. People do laugh at him and make jokes of him, but quite an underrated singer. And this is a Christmas song, the only Christmas number 1 it's hit. This said there was a bit of rigging, so he got a number 1 for Christmas. I don't know if it's true. I'm not interested. I like the song. Number 4 is Wonderful Xmas Time, Christmas Time, by Paul McCartney and Wings. Paul McCartney of the Beatles fame wrote this Christmas song. It's a celebration, everybody having a wonderful Christmas time. And let's be honest, most of us do. Number 3 is Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And the version I like is by a comedian called Mel Smith and a singer called Kim Wilde. Kim Wilde is the daughter of Marty Wilde. It's funny, it's hilarious. The video is fantastic. It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. Number 2 to me is Santa Baby, and the version you've got to listen to is by Eartha Kitt. This singer who exudes sexuality, sensuality. When she sings this song, she purrs. She's got one of them voices that's purrs. And her voice was so perfect, she did actually star in the 1960s in the TV series Batman, where she played Catwoman, because she purred her words. And she does in the song. It's a brilliant song. Of course, number 1, White Christmas, Bing Crosby. What else can you say? The perfect Christmas song. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. It's that. To me, it is the perfect Christmas song. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the Christmases we used to know, where the treetops glisten and children, and all that is brilliant. It's fantastic. And Bing Crosby's voice, perfect for it. So those are my top 5 songs. Now, people out there know I'm into classical music and choral music, and they'll say, but there's no carols or anything. That's because I'm going to do them separate. So my top 5 classical stroke carols. The first one, surprise people. I mean, there's plenty of carols. There's like Holly in the Ivy, In the Bleak Midwinter. You got the music from the Nutcracker Suite. I saw 3 ships come sailing back. Oh, Magnum Mysterium. I love that, but I have not actually included that, and you'll see why. So we've got all these beautiful carols and Christmas music. But my 5th one, and like I said, people will be surprised how low down it is from the Oratorio, Handel's Messiah. Handel's Messiah is this great work that tells the story of Jesus through the prophecies from the Old Bible, from the Old Testament. And in it there's, I think it's from Micah, and in it is the prophecy of unto us a child is born, unto us a Saviour is given. And it's brilliant. It's sublime, energetic, everything you can expect. So that's why I've included it, but it's not hit the top one. I like it, but not as much as the others. Number 4 is Troika. People call this the sleigh bell song. That music. Sleigh rides, music, Christmassy feel to it. I must admit, I do like it. The third one is a carol. Oh, well, all top 3 carols. The third one is Gaudete. Gaudete Christus est natus. And it's a hymn from the 15th century. But the version I like is by a folk group called Steel Eye Span. Because they speed it up a bit. Because when you listen to it in the proper tempo, it's... But they speed it up. And it sounds brilliant. My second one is Once in Royal David City. We all know it, we've all heard it. The version I like is when choirs sing it. Because it usually starts off with a soloist, usually a soprano, singing the first verse. Then everybody else joins in the second verse. It's fantastic. Brilliant. Number 1 is the Coventry Carol. It's a bit of a controversial one because it deals with birth, well, Jesus is born, and it deals up to when the wise men come and the after effects. So it's a hymn about the joyous thing about Jesus' birth, but then it goes on to the after effects. Herod sending his people to kill all the innocents. So as well as being a joyful song, you do get the after effects where Herod is trying to kill this new king of the Jews. The version I like is by a beautiful singer called Elaine Page. Musical artist, she appears on stage, she's appeared in Cats, Evita, that type of thing. But she sings this brilliantly. For those songs, I'm going to try to find them on YouTube. In the descriptions, I'll put links to each of them. So it'll be number 5 by so on and so on. So that's music. Now we come on to like TV and films. Let's be honest, we all sit down and watch them. Obviously, TV is to deal with the British television. In America, you might have different sort of comedy shows that deal with Christmas, comedy specials that deal with Christmas. But here are the top 5 that I really enjoy. Number 5 is Blackadder's Christmas Carol. This was a TV series where the main character was called Blackadder, and he was always trying to better himself. The first one was set in medieval England. The second one was set in Georgian England. No, King George, the mad one. The third one was set... the first one was in medieval. Second one was in Elizabethan. The third one was in Georgian. And the fourth one was set during the First World War. Well, they made this special one. Blackadder's Christmas Carol. Except this, the ghost visited this Edmund Blackadder. But Edmund Blackadder is a nice guy. He's not a Scrooge, he's a nice guy. And the ghost shows him all the terrible things his past has done. And this nice guy went, well, yeah. But they got what they wanted. Because before the ghost appears, he's took advantage of by his family, customers, because he owns a shop, and his friends. They all take advantage of him. So it's basically a Christmas Carol in reverse. He starts off as a good guy, ends up a bad guy, and nearly gets what he wants. There's a scene. You gotta watch it. It's fun. It's hilarious. It's a comedy. Number 4 is Doctor Who Christmas specials. Really a fan of Doctor Who. And every year they do, well, since it's been revised, they do a Christmas special. And it's always set around Christmas time. I'll see if I can find the link to the music, but there was one a few years ago that starred Matt Smith as the Doctor, and he did basically a Christmas carol with this oldish bloke. But one of the stars of it was Catherine Jenkins, the opera star, the classical music star, and she sings this sublime, haunting song. It's called Abigail's Song, and it's, I forget the subtitle of it. Hang on, I've got it on my phone. Just one sec. Silence is all you know. Silence is all you know. But it's a sublime, it's haunting, it's melodic. Plus you've got Catherine Jenkins' voice singing it. So that's been number 4. The Doctor Who Christmas specials. Number 3 is actually a comedy show, well, a comedy special by a ventriloquist called Jeff Dunham. Very famous in America. His most famous creation is Ahmed, the Dead Terrorist. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. The opening monologue about his daughter trying to fill up a car had me in stitches. But the thing that did get me is one of the last ones where he's with his good friend Peanuts, and he does a rendition of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas with Peanuts keep interrupting. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I'll see if I can find that clip and upload it so you can see. Number 2 was a BBC's children's series called The Box of Delights, based on a book by John Masefield. People say, oh, children's drama. It was brilliant. Fantastic. I've even got it on DVD. Set in the 1930s, so you got the kids talking in a bit like the famous Five talk, you know. Talk about gee golly and, you know, and all this, and scrabbling where you're talking about kidnapping. Oh, it's been scrabbled and all this sort of talk. Basic story is this kid meets this Punch and Judy man who turns out to be an immortal who has the Philosopher's Stone. People have heard of Philosopher's Stone through the Harry Potter films. And he's trying to get back to its creator, but he's kidnapped. But he has this box of delights that can make you go small, can make you go fast. And it's about the bad guys trying to ruin Christmas of the centenary of this church, and it's a big children's action adventure, basically. But it's brilliant. So what's number 1? Number 1 is by a duo of comedians. Very famous in England. They're so famous that their Christmas specials, it is said that the Queen and Prince Philip insisted that Christmas lunch was over and done with so they could sit down and watch them. That comedy duo is obviously Morecambe and Wise. Brilliant comedians. Christmas specials were the highlight of the year. Even as a young kid, I can remember finishing Christmas lunch, making sure everything's cleared up, making sure everything's put away, so we could sit down and watch the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special. Memories. I've got them all on DVD. But what made it special is they had obviously guest stars on, but these guest stars weren't invited. They were actually begging to go on the show. And he was turn around to some of these eminent stars and says, yeah, but you know, if you come on the show, you are going to have the mick taken. They are going to rip you. They are going to make fun of you. And people still wanted to come on. We've got actors like John Thor, Laurence Olivier, singers, Elton John, Des O'Connor, who they always took the mick out of. Big stars, Penelope Keith. People, especially in England, probably still in some America, knows Penelope Keith as Margot out of The Good Life. All these stars. But the clip I'm going to put on is the ultimate comedy clip. And it stars a famous conductor called Andre Previn. Or as they call him, Andre Preview. And it's Eric Morecambe playing the opening to the Peer Gynt Suite. It's comedy at its utmost best. It's timing at its utmost best. They did other jokes as well. One of the famous lines of for years, fathers did it after, there's a police car or an ambulance going, nee, 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 and they're upstairs and he looks out and says, it's not going to sell much ice cream for travelling at that speed. Most fathers did that joke at some time. Why were they upstairs together? Because they slept in bed together. But it wasn't gay. You know, you just accepted it that these two blokes shared the bed. And Ernie Wise was up. Eric Morecambe was always the sarcastic one. Ernie Wise was more the straight person who had the fun taken off him. And he was always in bed writing the plays that I wrote. Always trying to be this great playwright. So I'll see if I can find that clip, put it on, because it is comedy at its best. So those are my top 5 TV shows. Now we'll come on to films. Lots of films made. The Grinch. Action-adventure films like Die Hard, which is set over Christmas. Christmas Party. Tons of other films. The Man Who Came to Dinner, which was an early comedy starring Monty, Woolley, stuff like that. I've watched them all, they're good. But these are my top 5 Christmas films. These are films that I cannot do without over Christmas. Number 5, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's fun. It's hilarious. The Griswold Family, where the father/husband is trying to provide this perfect Christmas. It doesn't matter what he does, it all goes wrong, either because of the intervention of nature, family, neighbours, friends, bosses. His perfect Christmas starts slowly falling apart. In the end, it all comes together, but National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, it's a film that's got to be watched. You will be in stitches. Number 4 is a comedy, a British comedy called Love Actually. When it starts off, you think it's about 4 or 5 separate stories until it starts evolving that all these people know each other and it's interwoven. Some heart-tugging moments in it, but also a lot of comedy. You have a widower whose son has fallen in love with a girl at work. She sings a rendition of, what Christmas song is it? All I Want for Christmas Is You. Beautiful. You've got a Prime Minister falls in love with one of his assistant secretaries. Got a man who's thinking about cheating on his wife. You've got a young man that goes to America wanting to find love. Then you've got a writer who's just had a recent breakup. In the end, all the stories are resolved. It's light-hearted. It's a rom-com. I know people are not into rom-coms, but it's well done. Number 3 is an old film. The Bishop's Wife. Starring Cary Grant, David Niven. It was remade in the 90s, I think, with Denzel Washington. Don't watch that version. I think that's called The Preacher's Wife. Don't watch that version. If you want to see it, watch The Bishop's Wife. Black and white, but it's a good film. Basically, the story is that a bishop wants to build this great big cathedral for the glory of God. And he asks for divine help. And this angel appears, called Dudley, who basically turns all his plans upside down, but actually gives him what he wants in the end. And it turns out what he wants in the end is not this great cathedral, but something else. One of the last scenes is where this bishop's in this old church giving a sermon. And to be honest, I've heard lots of sermons by very eminent people, through TV, through attending church, and I'll tell you now, that is one of the best sermons I've ever heard. And it seems strange, it's not written by a religious man to say in a church, cathedral. It was written for a film. Bishop's Wife. Cary Grant, fantastic in it, brilliant actor. Number 2 will surprise some people because the title song from it was number 1 in the songs, and that's White Christmas. I can't imagine anybody out there who has not seen White Christmas. The pairing, for start off, Bing Crosby, a legend. Danny Kaye, comedian, actor, who appears in a lot of screwball comedies, but in this one, he actually tones it down a bit. But it's still funny, still hilarious. The last song is White Christmas, where they're in this hotel in Vermont. And they realise it's snowing, so they open the big doors, and they got this great big Christmas tree, and all the snow's... It's what we all want at Christmas, that type of scene. We all want it at Christmas, then we want it gone for an hour later because we've got to travel and stuff like that. But White Christmas. My number 1 film is actually a joint film. There's 2. I couldn't decide which one to make number 1. Christmas, we've got to have a Scrooge film in. We have got to have a Scrooge film in. A Christmas Carol. There's 2 I've chosen because they're musicals and I like musicals. The first one is just pure escapism fun, and that's The Muppets Christmas Carol. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. You will laugh. You will joke. It's typical Muppets. Michael Caine is playing Scrooge. Gonzo the Great as Charles Dickens. And Rizzo the Rat as his faithful companion. It's fun, it's hilarious, it's a musical. But my main number 1 choice is Scrooge, the musical, Albert Finney. Why this one compared to any other film? Any of the other Christmas Carol films? For the simple fact, that is the start of my Christmas. All the Christmas presents have been bought and wrapped, the Christmas tree's up, the Christmas decorations up, and that's when I sit down with a drink in my hand and say, let the festivities begin. And when I do that, I sit down, put that on, and enjoy the moment. Songs in it, brilliant. First song I want to mention is what's called Thank You Very Much. The Ghost of Christmas Futures took Scrooge to his future life, and he's outside his lending house, and all the debtors there are around him, and one of the main debtors comes out and starts talking about how we got so much to thank Mr. Scrooge for, and he thinks they're thanking him for being such a good guy. He's changed his ways, being a good guy, and he's getting up and giving a speech, except the debtor behind him is throwing his ledger in the air. And every time he throws a leaf in the air, they're cheering and Scrooge, oh, thank you. And the song is, I forget how it opens, but they say, thank you very much, but the nicest thing that you ever done for me. Stuff like that. And they're actually beginning to dance on his coffin. At one point, he's got a top hat, takes it off, goes, and touches the nameplate on the coffin. But Scrooge doesn't see any of this. He thinks they're thanking him because he's such a nice guy. Helped him out in the past. Don't realise he's dead. And then the last, if you like, act lasts about 8-9 minutes of reprises of different songs, where Scrooge has finally changed his life and he's going out, buying all these presents, you know, meeting his family, going around to the Cratchit's house, etc. But to me, that is Christmas. That's the start of my Christmas. So that's why I've made it number 1 on my Christmas list of films. I said it's a bit early. I would have planned to do this in a couple of weeks' time, but I need to video and I'm in a bit of a Christmassy mood. We're doing all the shopping and me and Joe talking about it yesterday. He is going to get a package today delivered. I hope he enjoys it. I'll find out later on when he emails me or whatever. But do you agree with the list? Let's talk about number 1s again. Number 1 in songs, White Christmas. Number 1 in the classical music, stroke carols, Coventry Carol. Number 1 in the TV shows, the Morecambe and Wise shows. In America, do you have something similar? I don't know. Number 1 in the films, Scrooge, stroke the Muppets Christmas Carol. Basically the same story, both musicals. What do you think? Let me know. What's your number 1 in each of the categories? Be interested to find out. I think that's it at the moment. The coffee's gone down well. It's very nice. Pourable brandy coffee. Cream in coffee. Makes it very nice. So, say goodbye for now. Speak again soon. I did actually forget to say I will put some links in the description of the different songs and stuff, as I've said before. Also clips I can find. So check them out. So again, bye for now.